Go ahead.
I could defer if someone else. So Pedro, yes, this is an amazing list of accomplishments. So congratulations on doing this. So I'm going to give you this opportunity to, to basically tell us if you were ASB president, if you were elected next year for ASB president, what would be the most important issues you would want the ASB student body to tackle next year?
I think definitely getting more student input. I know we're trying to do like as much as we can this year with like surveys, like what AVA does, and also like the new ASB feedback form we did this year, which even has like options to contact us. So I would definitely emphasize like getting more student input, but also we want to make like Culture Week bigger, even though we're implementing like new events this year. We want to add more next year and make it something that all people can participate in. I know sometimes our times conflict with like other activities, so definitely doing something like that where all people can come and getting more activities throughout the week to like celebrate diversity more and just make people feel more included in our community.
Pedro, I don't know if you realize, but your campaign, I think, just started. Congratulations on everything you've accomplished. And outside of the board, I work for the Boys and Girls Club, and I was the first email vice president in my current role. And so from one vice president to another, I just want to say that, leadership is not about the title. It's about the influence you have on others. And it's clear through all your involvement within the Mountain View community that you have like a lot of influence and are probably an inspiration to so many students. So thank you for showing up and modeling for many students. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think Esmeralda said it much better than I could, but I really want to say that you really are uplifting other people in the way that you give back to your community, not only at school but outside, is really inspiring. And I wanted to ask you a couple of questions. Since we're on the board and you're going to be hopefully ASB president, if you were answering this survey, what would you say would be your top 3 goals for the board to make the board more inclusive?
I would say, like I said, for being ASB president, I think more student input. I think the survey is very useful, but I think the main issues at our school that our students probably want to address is, like I said, like culture celebration. I've heard from a lot of ELD students, like in the past when I was doing ELD presentations, that they would like to see more representation of the culture. And also when talking to friends, they've also told me like it'd be fun and important to have more activities like that. So that'd be one of the main main things I would want to work on. Another thing for the board, I think, would be working on like creating, I guess, like I said, more student input, more ways to provide student input, maybe like adding private meetings with other students or like a select group of students. So that way we can get more feedback. Like it could be random students so we can get all the different perspectives. And that way we can get the best feedback possible. And I think those would be the main points I would want to work on next year.
I would like to ask, what are you going to do in your internship at Stanford?
So I'm applying to about 2. One is about cardiology, so it's working with the heart and learning about how to properly do surgery and stuff like that. And then also the other one I plan on doing, where I'm applying to, is about anesthesiology, so learning techniques and doing like lab techniques like pipetting and all that, like basic techniques, and kind of getting better at that.
Cool.
Very good. Do you have family here tonight?
Yeah, so my mom, my dad, and my grandmother.
Good. Well, I hope you'll all stand and join us in front of the MVLA sign there.
it needs wheels.
You're okay. You'll improve.
Wide angle. Sorry. There you go. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, Stady is already in the podium.
All right, is everyone ready?
We're ready.
Perfect. Los Altos High School is proud to honor Angela Vargas as our January Student of the Month. It is a privilege to recognize all of her accomplishments throughout her time at Los Altos High School. Her favorite classes include AP Calculus BC and Bio Honors. She points to Bio Honors in 9th grade as the moment she realized her love for science, which has pushed her to take other advanced science courses. As the only Latina student in her calculus class, she works hard to keep pushing herself and not give in to imposter syndrome. Through her advanced classes, she has proven to be an incredible thinker and an engaged student. Angela is part of the Advanced Science Investigation, or ASI, at LAHS. This year, her project focuses on eating disorders, the root causes, both socially and scientifically, and future treatments for them. She has seen the effect that eating disorders can have, and through her proposed solutions for non-invasive medicine that would target specific tendencies linked to eating disorders. As of now, she is determining if a compound that hasn't been tested yet would be more effective than those previously studied. Although she is extremely passionate about her hypothesis, she acknowledges that regardless of the outcome, this has been a wonderful learning experience. Angela is passionate about using her skills to benefit others on and off campus. As a survey skills tutor at LAHS, she facilitated an English support class for freshmen students struggling with coursework 3 times a week. She also worked in groups and one-on-one with students to provide feedback and elicited response to build lifelong skills for success in future English classes. Outside of school, Angela is a volunteer in the Community Service Agency, or CSA. CSA is a nonprofit organization that offers housing support to people experiencing homelessness, nutritious food for low-income and senior citizens, and emergency financial assistance. As a volunteer, Angela prepared and served meals to seniors, organized and prepared nutritious and fresh food for community members. Through her hard work and dedication, she became the community navigator and received a recommendation for providing excellent community support. As an avid student, Angela works to excel both academically and personally. She's received the Avid Academic Achievement Award her freshman and sophomore years. She's also received the top 5 GPA for both her freshman and sophomore years from the Los Altos High School Latino Award, as well as an Outstanding Achievement in English Award for her sophomore year. After high school, Angela hopes to use her passions to continue her education into science, particularly in medicine. She loves working with children, especially as a peer tutor, and loves helping others learn and discover new things. She hopes to pursue a career in medicine or education, where she could feel the impact that she makes on others. When asked about her plans for the future, she said, "Going to college will hopefully help me figure out what my calling is, but whatever I major or career I eventually choose and settle on, I know it'll make me really happy, and that's all I can ever ask for." Congratulations, Angela Vargas, for being the January Student of the Month and for all your amazing success and dedication to give back to your community and school. As a model student and leader, we can't wait to see all of the amazing accomplishments coming your way in the future. Thank you.
Angela, congratulations. That's another long list of accomplishments. Very, very impressive.
Thank you very much.
I know our board members will have comments and questions for you. Board members?
Yes, I see you're both accomplished in science and math, science and English, which is unusual. Can you talk more about that and what sort of you're considering in the future?
Well, I've always loved science as a kid because I loved how hands-on it could be. And I loved how science can be used. Well, I currently love how science can be used to heal other people. And I find that fascinating and beautiful and so many other things. But with English, it's amazing because I learned Spanish first, and being able to express myself in 2 languages is also a beautiful thing. And something about being able to express myself in English very fluently as a Spanish speaker is, I think, super powerful. So yeah.
Very good. Sanjay.
So I was interested in your ASI project. So can you tell us about this compound? What exactly is the compound that you're studying? And basically, what is the process for you to basically test your hypothesis?
Okay, so so there's, I don't know how in depth you want me to go. Hold on. So a study was done to find a compound that would reduce the levels of glutamate in the brain, because reducing those levels is linked to reducing the frequency of binge purge episodes in bulimic individuals. And so that's why we want a compound that would reduce those levels, right? And so we found a compound, or well, I found a compound and my teacher helped me a lot, Mr. Dressen, and we found an SAR gap in the research where one of the compounds wasn't completely studied yet, because they had a list of compounds that they did and that they performed experiments on, but didn't cover all the bases completely. And we recognize that hole, and that specific compound is what we're focusing on right now. And then could you remind me of the second part of your question, please?
What is the process you're using to test the hypothesis?
Right now, first we have to synthesize it all, right? And it's a 3-step synthesis with Suzuki coupling, and then I think an acid hydrolysis, and then another Suzuki coupling. Right now we're in the right now we're in the last stages because my synopsis is soon, and the Santa Clara County Science Fair is coming up. But right now, to synthesize the compound, and then, sorry, could you remind me one more
Is
time?
there a way to test the hypothesis? How do you test it with animals? How do you test the hypothesis?
We wouldn't test it with animals, but what we're going to do is first assure ourselves that that's the compound we found. And so we're going to take an NMR of the compound after purifying it and doing its workup and everything. And then after that, we're going to compare its RF values with the compound originally studied, I believe, and then see if, well, in an ideal world, we would send it out to a biolab basically, and then they would give us the IC50 level back. And then we could compare the IC50 level is if it basically determines how effective the compound is. And then we would determine, the level would come back to us and basically tell us the lower the level, the better it was. And hopefully it would have a lower level.
Well, I think it's clear you've demonstrated how bright and academic you are. Appreciate your answer. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Very good.
I was going to ask about your community volunteerism. When do you even have time for that? And so nice of you to give back to the community outside of the school. It's a fabulous thing to do. And I would hope all young people would already have a sense of their community by the time they got out of high school. That's to be applauded.
Thank you very much.
Just a comment, Angela, just congratulations. It's clear that you are enjoying how you're spending your time at school. And I would just name for you that, you mentioned being one of the few in your, calculus classes, and just a piece of advice, continue to push yourself to embrace some of that discomfort, because your trajectory, you're gonna be in many rooms where maybe you're one of the few. You're gonna be breaking a lot of barriers. So congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Good. Well, do you have family with you tonight?
I do, yeah. I have my mother, my dad, and my brother.
I hope that they will come up to the front and join us.
Now we get to be.
Good. Okay, and who will be presenting our student of the month from Alta Vista? Who's that?
Good evening, everyone. Alta Vista High School is very proud to honor Jonathan Ortiz as our January Student of the Month, or really, it's our Alta Vista Student of the Year, as this is our annual student presentation before the board. Alta Vista presents one special student for the 22-23 school year before the Board of Representatives, and this year, the decision amongst all staff members was unanimous. Jonathan represents the heart of the Alta Vista family. He demonstrates a positive work ethic, moral character, and resilience. Jonathan immigrated to Florida at the age of 6 and then relocated to the Mountain View Los Altos School District after 7th grade with his family for better economic opportunity. He did not have a typical high school start, we could say, missing 8th and 9th grades and trying to do his very best as a 10th grader new to the district. While Jonathan struggled in credits and with education gaps initially in high school, Jonathan said he made good friends and relationships with helpful teachers while at Los Altos High School. This fall at Alta Vista High School, Jonathan earned 30 credits in one semester with a 4.0 GPA. You did. Wow. It's not easy to do that. You have to accrue your points that you start from 0 as a new student. There's a transition period. So Jonathan clearly has worked very diligently. He's worked on time management skills and academic focus and is able to learn in the Alta structure of evening online classwork in addition to his 5 class periods on campus. In the words of Miss Mahalik, Miss Lewis, who's been here observing, there we go, and Miss Estrada, Jonathan's always a team player. He's incredibly respectful and his actions show how much his desire to succeed is important to him. Jonathan works hard and is dedicated to his work. Every day, it's a joy to have him in class. And Jonathan's friendly and polite personality is contagious. Outside of school, Jonathan works 4 to 5 days a week. Some of that's changed a little bit with the storms and business slowdown, but we're picking back up. He also likes to hang out with his friends and his girlfriend, as well as his family when everyone has the same days off work. Jonathan also has a little sister hoping to attend Los Altos High School next year, so Miss Sarah will be taking care of her. And he works to be a good example for his sister. Of special mention, Jonathan's mom, has always had an incredible work ethic, and he is proud of how she's provided for her family. Jonathan stated that his mom has taught him these important life lessons. Hard work always pays off. Try to respect others, and also in life, try to have fun. Jonathan's goals for the future are to focus on school, continue to compete in Alta Vista sports, and possibly graduate early as a mid-year senior. Jonathan's focused on a career and training, possibly through De Anza Community College in the auto or the auto certificate program, and may also try community college classes even next year as a senior. Congratulations, Jonathan Ortiz, for receiving Alta Vista Student of the Year Award. We can't wait to see all the accomplishments coming your way in the future.
Well, Jonathan, you are genuinely an inspiration. You have accomplished so much in such circumstances. It's incredible. And your work ethic is really, really impressive. I know board members will have questions for you, but I have to praise your indomitable will. And I agree, you've got great things lined up for you in the future.
Thank you.
Board members, questions, comments?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, this is an incredible resume you have put together in a very, very short amount of time. Very, very impressive. I think you have a very bright future. So very, very proud that you're a part of our family. So I'm grateful for that too. So just a couple things. One is, so I just like that you said you want to continue to compete in Alta Vista sports. And what do you have any favorite sports you can let us know about?
Right now I'm doing basketball. It's
Okay, you
really
enjoy
my
that?
favorite sports right now.
Yeah, you have a favorite NBA player?
I really don't watch that much basketball.
Oh, that's good. That's fine. That's good. Thank you.
I have two questions. One is, what's your favorite class at Alta Vista? And second is, how did you pick auto business as something you want to pursue?
Well, my favorite class right now was culinary, but I switched that to sports. And for the auto part, well, I still haven't found what type of auto program I want to join in, but for my future, I just want to work there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Jonathan, to you and to your mom, and it's clear mom has modeled hard work, and I don't think that everything you've accomplished in such a short amount of time would be possible without it. I'm curious what advice you have for other students who, like you, maybe moved to California, and maybe as you think about what advice you'd give, think about what you yourself had to do to get to where you're at right now.
Well, what I had to do is like just to ask for help from teachers, and when you ask, they will help you when they have the chance. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Well, I just want to say I'm really impressed by how hard you've worked. Sounds, to come from having missed 2 grades to 30 credits is really an impressive accomplishment. So that's a lot of hard work. So I guess I wanted to ask you, obviously your inspiration is your mom, but when you're in school, what would be your advice to other students who are, maybe in class and are struggling, besides asking for help? What makes you reach out to your teachers?
Can you repeat it again? I'm sorry.
I'm just saying, so you said you asked for help,
Mhm.
which is great, but I think a lot of people don't ask for help. So what would you say to someone who is sitting there feeling maybe like they don't belong, or what would you say to someone who is afraid to ask for help?
Really, well, for me, if I'm afraid of asking help, I would try to make friends in my class, and ask for the friends if they understood the subject, and if they did, I would ask them to help me to understand the subject on what we're working on.
That's a great. I mean, I'm really impressed by your answers. You're clearly mature beyond your years. Thank you.
So we know you have family here. I hope that they will come to the front and give somebody else the camera for a minute, and we can take some photos.
Yeah.
My mom, my brother, my sister, my dad, and my girlfriend.
Bring everyone up. Okay, that's always one of the high spots of the meeting. And tonight that certainly was super high.
It was.
Very, very good. So Nellie, you get to follow that.
I do. And feeling a little insecure. But thank you, thank you. I do just want to say, Pedro, Angeli, and Jonathan are why we're here, and just so impressive to hear from them. So thanks to them, and there they are. All right. Well, just briefly want to share some things that we've been doing in the district. This is a shot where Amber Woodward, our CTE specialist, attended the Rotary along with board members and President Dave, and spoke to our career technical education pathways and how they assist students in engaging in our classwork. And so we're continuing to spread the word, and happy to see the results. Also, wanted to just recognize, as we start the Lunar New Year, the year of the rabbit, a time of optimism and prosperity. And I also wanted to just acknowledge the tragedy that it started with in Monterey, and recognize that that just happens all too often. And just know that we have several communities that are really mourning and working through this. Going through MVLA, continuing to work on excellence, equity, and engagement, and they are obviously linked, and you can't do one without the other. And so now just a few highlights of some of the things that we've been working on and information I want to share. We did a deeper dive into the COVID status. It was a question that came up at the last meeting conversation. And so we looked at reported numbers coming back from Thanksgiving, compared them to winter. And of course, it's, there are a lot of different variables, but you can see after Thanksgiving to winter for staff went from 11 to 2. So it's still there, but the numbers are dramatically decreasing. And then for students, and this, my gut tells me this is a reporting error, because we have a lot of students and not as many staff, but 12 reported. Although certainly with the vaccine and other things, the numbers have greatly declined, and 4 coming back from winter. So you can see the impact. We didn't look at absences in general, because certainly flu is rising, etc. But I did want to just share with everyone, we have COVID information on every website, all of our site campuses. Our dashboard is kept current, so if you want to look for the numbers, they are there. And our testing, that's my picture here, we're continuing our testing at both of our comprehensive high school campuses. Also wanted to share, not really a smooth transition, but important wellness, mental health wellness. We are starting tier 2 groups. And so this is an addition. And one of the things that Pedro mentioned is that they wanted to see more wellness, mental health interventions. And so we will be holding at Los Altos High Mondays and Tuesdays, and then at Mountain View Wednesdays and Thursdays, groups around anxiety and depression, mindfulness, stress reduction, and recognizing that this isn't always an easy thing to talk about in a group. So we will continue to have one-on-one for that very reason, but there is a community that we want to build. And so this will be a tier 2 intervention. Going forward as well, the Los Altos High School Green Team over the weekend partnered with local environmental organization Greentown Los Altos, and they went and planted trees throughout the community. And I think you could argue certainly that environmental health is also, really one of those factors that makes for a healthy community in addition to those mentioned. And so you can see some of the photos there.
That's me.
Are you in there, Sadie? You look. Let me see, which,
Down at the corner, down at the bottom.
oh, okay, and the left, right? Oh, no, holding the shovel at the top.
Yeah.
Okay, got it, my eyes, all right. But, well, thank you for that, because we're continuing to have our district-wide climate committee, but the Los Altos team is really leading the way as well.
I think Sadie, are volunteers as just students or
Yeah,
adults
so
only? I mean, adults as well.
So it's run by Greentown Los Altos with Gary. I think.
You can see Gary in the
Yeah.
right.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah.
so this is part of this project, but then it's students from the Green Team and students from National Honor Society who can get volunteer hours for this.
So that was this weekend, is that correct?
Yeah.
And the little sun, was it beautiful?
Yeah, it was perfect. The ground
Perfect.
was like super nice.
All right, thank you. Also wanted to share that Chief Averett visited Los Altos High School, and students came and spoke to her, and she also had a kind of meet and greet and wanted to make sure that she was able to meet not only the staff but students of Los Altos as she participates in her first year. You can see pretty good crowd, and that was at the ACT period. Over at Mountain View, and this was mentioned during the study session that we had this afternoon, the new auxiliary gym, we celebrated that event, and certainly really really dying to play a game while we were there. Some ideas have been floated around, such as staff versus students, but I don't know. I think we had some problems with that conversation, but other than that, we are really looking forward to having a new venue and being able to have a third place where students can exercise and get fit.
Will it be used this spring?
Yeah, it's used now.
It's open?
It's open now. It is open now. Yes, scoreboards. Doesn't have seating for observers, for spectators, but it definitely is a great gym. You can see some board members in there as well. Also, this is on the left, you have our PTSA, and you can see Principal Glazier thanking the PTSA for hospitality and also recognizing the cheerleaders who were award winners in the last month. And then on the right, as was mentioned in Ava's report, you can see here that Mountain View's Science Olympiad team went to MIT, and they won second overall out of 64 teams. And these are 64 teams that have already met several criteria to get there, and one of only 3 trophies during this time. And out of the 23 events, they medaled in 10 of the events, and the black team and the gold team in 4. So a very happy team, and certainly that is something we should consider recognizing here at the board as well. Also, Alta Vista, a lot of great activities. I really love the one, Ms. Woolfolk in the middle there, the time to really
be able to have fun together and play board games, etc. But our students were encouraging them with bicycles and really looking at safe routes to school. And then on the right, some activities around art and writing. And then wanted to mention that last Thursday, we had Wendy Sterling, Shelley Agarwal, and Signa Darpinian. They spoke about raising body positive teens. One is a medical doctor, one is a nutritionist who works with a variety of local teams, including the Golden State Warriors. And then one has a podcast and is a therapist. And so the three of them have come together to talk about the importance of body positivity and how so many of the images that we see in the media just really distort reality. So it was very well attended with great questions, and we look forward to February, where we will have Dr. Kelly Harding speak to the science of kindness. And this is Kindness Week, so it's a good timing. And then just a shout out that we January 31st will be holding our next Family Partnership Council meeting in Alta Vista's multi-use room, and that we are still accepting applications to participate. And the applications will be accepted until that Tuesday. You can see some pictures from the presentations. And then also, and you can see here, Jonathan, he's the first, he's the last to present, but he was the first in our newsletter that will be going out to 12,000 people, recognizing all of our students of the month and other activities. And that concludes my superintendent's report. Thank you.
Thank you, Nellie. Any questions for Nellie on the report? Okay, we'll move on to communications from district organization. I don't believe we have any representatives tonight, so there won't be any comments. Public comments on items not on the agenda. Is there anyone here wishing to speak on an item that is not on the agenda? I see no hands, so I'm assuming not. Okay, so then we will move on with the consolidated motion. Consolidated motion tonight consists of 5 items: the personnel report, the school accountability report card, an award bid for the Mountain View Los Altos High School District E-rate project equipment and cabling infrastructure, the independent auditors report for 2021-22, and resolution 22-23-18 on teleconferences. Any item that anyone would like to pull?
I don't want to pull an item, but I would like to clarify one thing.
Please.
And that is, Mike, could you clarify that the E-rate thing won't actually cost us quite that much money, because the whole point of E-rate is as a government program and we'll get some of the money back?
Yeah, that's correct. We get 40% back of what we spend.
Okay, so I mean, that's one reason we go for it this way and do it by their rules and everything.
Thank you, Catherine and Mike. That's a great clarification. Okay, may I have a motion to approve the consolidated motion as presented?
I move that we approve consolidated motion 16-1 through 16-5.
Second.
Moved by Catherine, seconded by Theda. Ava? Sadie?
I approve.
Good, thank you both. Board members, any discussion? All in favor, raise hands or say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Business action item, item 18.1, Nellie?
Yes, thank you. And certainly we'll have Terry here also for questions. The item before you is an item that is coming back for a second time, and it is for, we are recommending for approval. Currently, AB 101 requires that ethnic studies be taught in the year 23-24 school year. MVLA determined that we wanted to start early, that we wanted to make sure that we had committed resources, time, energy, and thought to making sure that this course was valuable, robust, and certainly laid the foundation for our students. This particular course will be taught in the 23-24 school year for all students in ninth grade as a foundational course. We are recommending adjusting the graduation requirements, in essence, to make room for the full year ethnic studies course in ninth grade for all ninth graders. And so our staff recommendation is to eliminate 0.5 of global studies and then also 0.5 of an elective.
Thank you. For the benefit of those who weren't here last time when there was a first reading of this, the global studies requirement was put in because there was an exam in 11th grade and 10th grade, and our students were not prepared for that exam. But that exam no longer exists. So eliminating the global studies requirement is actually something that's overdue. And that's part of the recommendation. The other issue that we were kicking around last time was changing the electives requirement from 60 to 55. Some difficulties with this are, I understand from our professional staff that coming up with a half-year academically rigorous elective is difficult. And fitting it into the schedule is a separate and also difficult problem. So several board members, I among them, were floating different ideas. My idea was to keep the ethnic studies content, but integrate it into civics as the second semester or freshman year. I have since learned from our associate superintendent for student services that she did some investigation, and civics is required as a 12th grade course, not a 9th grade course. So that idea is out. And it looks like we're going to have to go with the 55 unit recommendation. And our associate superintendent assures me that they're going to work very hard to find a 5-credit course that students can take to satisfy that requirement. And that way we'll keep the ethnic studies as all freshman year. So that sounds reasonable to me. Anybody else want to chime in on this?
I just wanted to chime in that we definitely want, and have always planned to, because I know some of the public has asked this, have a whole year ethnic studies class. And we have not wavered from that point of view since last year at the board and when we approved the pilot in the first place. So we are keeping true to that. We definitely want that. And secondly, I think with our new offerings on CTE, some of those may, at least in its infancy, be semester classes, or might be able to be paired with another CTE. So that might also fill some of the elective gaps. I mean, the rigorous content.
Yeah, I mean, the concern, so many of our students take way more than 60 electives, 60 units of electives.
Yeah.
But specifically for the students who are most likely to benefit from ethnic studies, the 60 unit requirement was viewed as a good thing because it exposed them to some courses that were not required, opportunities to explore interests, maybe continuing in the ethnic studies area, whatever area they were looking for.
Yeah.
But it's a lot to put on students who are struggling. So that was kind of where we were going. But I think the solution that the administration is proposing is the best one under the circumstances.
Did you want to have public comment before I make a motion, or should I just?
Well, I don't know.
There's still discussion, right?
Okay.
Yeah, it's still on
So I just
discussion.
want to confirm what we're approving here. So I want to just kind of go through. So in the agenda, right, you look at the document, the 22-23 grad credit requirement approval. So plan 1 is the new one, right? Which basically, I think Bill already explained what it is. So I'm not going to go through the details what it is, but basically, ethnic studies is a 1-year course, and we removed the half a credit for the global studies and a half credit for something else. I forgot that now, but which one? Elective, sorry, elective. So So that's what we're approving. Are we doing the plan 2, plan 3? Is that also what we're approving on this, or just the plan 1? Just plan 1?
Just Plan One.
Just plan 1. Okay, just
This
one.
chart shares some
Share the other
recent
stuff.
legislation and other
I just
things.
want to,
Yeah.
it's on there. and I just
Correct,
Make sure what we're
correct.
doing. Okay. So, yeah, no, I just wanted to get that clarification there.
Good, good clarification. Thank you, Sandra.
I have no other discussion.
Any
So
other-
I have a question, I have a comment, first of all, and a question. I'm committed to having ethnic studies be a year-long course. But my question is, what would the impact be on students if we made the requirement be 50 elective credits?
Perhaps Terry, if you could take
Would you
that.
repeat that, please?
What would the impact for students be if we had the requirement be 50 elective credits? And that would,
Our overall grad credit from 220 to 215.
yes,
Well, it's an opportunity to explore, encourage them to explore courses. You know, having as an example a health class at the semester really gives us some great opportunity to talk about what other types of semester opportunities could we bring our students that doesn't lock them into a year commitment, but just like a nice short taste of a course. And so I think, in my opinion, it would be in really great interest to stay with the 220 so we could continue to explore a variety of options. And as research shows, when you offer students more options to explore their interests, they start to feel more engaged and more belonging in their setting because they're finding things that they connect with. And so I would love to be able to explore that through the semester opportunity that we have in front of us now.
Any other questions or comments? Anyone from the public wishing to speak on this item?
Y'all know who I am. I just want to say, like, you know, I've been bugging y'all for probably over a year on this now. So I'm actually rather pleased to see where we're at. I'm pleased to see the new board members as well, also being very committed to this. So, this is kind of a good day here. So, thanks for dealing with me and some of the public, through this journey. And, I'm just excited for the next round of kids who get to go through this. So, thank you guys.
So you'll want to stay tuned because in March, I understand, we're going to have a presentation on the ethnic studies course. Is that
Yes,
correct, Nellie?
yes, it is March 24th. I believe. Yeah.
Well, see y'all then.
Don't book that long vacation in March.
I don't get a spring break anymore.
Okay, I'm ready to entertain a motion.
I so move that we approve the change to the
Graduation.
graduation requirements as listed in the agenda and the attachment.
Moved by Catherine,
second,
seconded by Tina.
Can I just make a clarification, just so it's on, what we're approving is the plan 1 in the agenda.
That's right.
Right.
Specifically plan 1 of the
Yeah.
agenda.
Specifically to eliminate the global studies requirement of 5 units and to reduce the elective course requirements from 60 units to 55.
So it's basically, the plan 1 for the 22-23 grad credit requirement.
That's
And,
correct.
and everything in the summary,
And everything.
only in the summer, everything,
Okay.
Yes,
only that. is
just
separate.
what's in the
Yeah.
summary.
That's fine, okay.
So we've had our discussion. Sadie,
I approve.
Sadie, Alba,
I approve.
thank you, Alba. Board members indicate your position, all in favor. Aye, motion carries 5-0. Board operations, suggestions for future board reports meeting, board members.
We've got the ethnic studies, which will come in March, right? I think the only one we're gonna look at, we talked about the 504s, right? And the IEP, we want to look at those numbers to see, understand the reasons why students are becoming 504s. Is that what it was? I'm trying to remember the. I think it was because when we went through the board study session a couple months ago, we were reviewing the 504s and the IEPs. And we wanted to understand a little bit more details about some of the data we collected from that. So I think we're going to review that.
Okay,
Dr. Meyer, one thing that might be helpful to me and some of the other newer board members too is like a summary list at the bottom of the ones that are already in the hopper so that we don't ask again, because I like to have a little bit more roadmap and wellness, but I know I've already asked for that. So how do we remember which ones, who's asked for already?
So on the weekly. that
I know, but it's not in the board agenda.
Oh, in the board agenda.
I mean, at the bottom of this too.
Okay.
As an information.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, then the public can also see.
Yeah,
what
so they
we
can
got.
see what we have in the hopper, if
Yeah,
you will.
actually, I want to take that back. It wasn't the 504. We were talking about the students that were elected to take an AP course, but then they decided to drop the AP course. We wanted to understand the reasons why they are dropping the AP or honors course.
Okay.
And it said we collected some data on that. I just wanted to get that. Either that can come in an email or meeting, but either one, I think we discussed. Yeah.
Could I also ask, I noticed a significant difference between students who are in calculus, AP calculus, I meant, and AP physics, which are actually two related subjects. So I'm curious about what's going on with that.
Okay,
So there's a lot of math in AP physics that is actually calculus. So, and a lot of calculus is actually physics equations. So they're actually two interrelated subjects. But there's a large number of students in both schools that are taking AP calculus and a much smaller number of students that are taking AP physics.
Maybe because physics is a lot harder.
Yeah, and I
I
think,
think that's the perception.
Yeah.
Well, no, I
yeah,
took a lot of physics, trust me.
Yeah.
It's harder, it's harder.
yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe just a
Mhm.
that there happens to be one main pathway through all of math, which ends as AP Calc, ABCD, where in science you get to a certain point and all of a sudden you open up to AP Chem, AP Bio, AP Physics 1, AP Physics, CNE, AP Environmental Science, and so there's
More
a
choice.
larger variety, which I think then dilutes the population that enters that AP Physics.
Right, well, then I would expect to see kind of it somewhat evenly divided. And I do think, I agree that there's a perception that physics is like a hard science. And I mean that figuratively and literally. So I'd just like to explore that a little bit.
yeah, I think it's worth answering, but one thing you should keep in mind is that physics is a lab course. Lab courses have that extra requirement that eats up a lot of time. So the
Doesn't
math course
AP
doesn't have
doesn't AP Chem also have I assume
Yeah.
it does. At least it did when I took chemistry.
Maybe if you're looking at different, not AP Chem, but some of the other sciences, but most all, they are required to have labs. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, any other? Got more suggestions? Communications correspondence, no?
I will just share that as a result of our item where we increased our career pathway courses, that Anna Eshu's office sent a letter to the district commending us for taking this action and expanding our opportunities for students.
Very good to hear. Thank you.
Thank you to staff and the superintendent for all their hard work on that.
Okay, and our next scheduled meeting is in February. Which date?
13.
February 13th.
Monday the 13th.
And that follows a week later by a break.
Correct.
Very good.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. There is no closed session to resume. So we are at the point of asking for a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
Second.
Moved by Sanjay, seconded by Catherine. Ava?
I approve.
You're all in favor of adjournment. Sadie?
I approve.
Good.
That's,
Yeah.
aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
All right.